I feel bad for making yet another video about the Indiana Pacers because, good Lord, it's just been a rough week, rough couple weeks, rough season so far for the Pacers. But every time I'm like, oh, okay, so the Hornets, we're going to talk about the Pacers now, but they're probably going to get better. Things are going to start to turn themselves around. It just gets worse. Today's loss has to be the worst loss of the season against the Hornets, at least right up near the top of the list. I mean, it's just a disastrous loss for a very, very bad team. And I'm talking about the Pacers. The Pacers are a bad team. Like, plain and simple. I don't have any other words or ways to describe this team than that right now. This is a bad team with a bad loss to another bad team. I mean, this is a team with a lot of talent, multiple All-Stars last year. Guys like Miles Turner, Ben Mathurin, who are expected to be contributors and the type of role players who can contribute to really good basketball teams. And it's just not happening right now. I mean, this team is a disaster, and I don't even know where you start in terms of fixing it. It's a complete fustercluck in a way. I don't know what I'm saying. In a way that, like, they just made the conference finals and they were decently competitive. I know the series didn't wind up being all that competitive. They lost, 4-1, but it was a pretty competitive series. A lot of those games were close. They even choked a couple of them. And it's just been a total disaster this year. I don't know what's wrong. The chemistry's wrong. The offense isn't great. The defense is atrocious. Like, this team just sucks. And it literally might just take a whole restart in a lot of ways to fix some things. When you look at the box score, 109-113, they lose to the Hornets, who did not have LaMelo Ball, did not have Mark Williams, did not have Miles Bridges, did not have several other legitimate rotation guys on this team. Just, how do you lose to this team, bro? You lost to a team starting Vasilij Micic. Like, Daquan Jeffries and Isaiah Wong are playing 20 and 18 minutes off the bench respectively. Like, it's not like they were super duper injured. Like, I get Aaron Nesmith hasn't played in a while, but Siakam played, Turner played, Halliburton played, Mathurin played, Andrew Nembhard played, Obi Toppin played, Jarris Walker played, TJ McConnell was amazing, had freaking 30 points. TJ McConnell outscored Mathurin, Halliburton, and Siakam combined. How do you expect to win basketball games like this? They're terrible defensively. And offensively, they've taken a huge step back as well. I know they made the conference finals last year, but I don't know if Siakam fits next to Halliburton. I don't see the justification to fit there the way that they're playing this season. Miles Turner used to be a great defensive big. I don't know what's happened to that. That is gone. He is just not that anymore. Halliburton, we've talked ad nauseum about how much he struggled this year, but it just continues to be very bad. 9 points in 37 minutes, 0-4 from 3. How are you going to win games like this when your best player is putting up 9 points on like a relatively consistent basis? Ben Mathurin's 4 of 11, 1 of 7 from 3. Looks like his insanity run shooting the ball is starting to come to an end. I mean, I'm gassing it a little bit at this point, to be completely honest. But look, this year has been a disaster, and it's not getting better. It's getting worse. When you look at the numbers, this team is just gross. They have a -5 point differential. Their expected wins per 82 right now, per cleaning the glass, would only be 29.5. They're actually outperforming their expected win total based on their efficiency differential, which is this stat right here. They're actually outperforming what would be expected of this team based on their performance so far this year. When you look at the team offensively, 112.9 points per 100 possessions isn't great. They're middle of the pack there. Yes, they're one of the more efficient teams in basketball, but they don't rebound. They don't get to the free throw line. And then defensively, they're a disaster. They're the second. They give up the second best efficiency of any defense in basketball. They don't create a ton of turnovers. They give up too many points per possession. They foul too much. They don't rebound. Like, they don't do anything good defensively, and they don't do much good offensively. Like, the defensive stuff, when you look back at the last couple of years, has been true. They were able to overcome the defensive stuff by having a league-winning offense. Second best points of possessions last year, second most efficient team in the league. And now they're not good offensively, and they're a total disaster still defensively, maybe even worse. The numbers are damning for this team. I mean, they just plain and simple are. There's no other way to describe it. The numbers tell the story of a team that is not just playing bad, but a team that is just not a good basketball team. This looks like a bad basketball team on paper so far this season, and it's just a disaster for a team that just made the conference finals. And the biggest issue is Siakam's still shooting 42% from 3. Ben Mathurin's over 40%. So is Miles Turner. Aaron Nesmith's over 54%, sorry, which is absurd. I know he hasn't played much and hasn't played as of late, but the efficiency for a lot of their guys outside of Tyrese Halliburton has actually been really, really good. And it doesn't matter. That stuff is going to regress. Like, Siakam and Mathurin are not going to shoot this well throughout the season. I'm not sure Miles Turner will either. like the shooting for some of their best players is actually likely to regress. And that's a scary thought for a team that already is struggling significantly more offensively this year. When you look at the standings, man, they are currently the 9 seed in the East. They're 10-15. The only reason that they're in a decent spot in the East to make the play-in is because of how bad the East is, and teams around them like the Nets and the Bulls are likely to continue to tank. Now, I think all 7 teams above them, from the Cavs to the Hawks, are distinctly better than them. They are at best the 8th best team in the West right now. And honestly, the Pistons have been better. Even net rating wise, the Bulls, the Nets, teams like that have been better. The Sixers are finally starting to get a little bit healthy. They got their big 3 back tonight for the first time really this season, where they actually all played together for a real game and they won. You look at this team and you look at their competition and you look what's going on this season and you're like, this is a bad basketball team and it doesn't look like it's going to get significantly better. This is a situation where I seriously wonder, are they going to start trading guys? Like, are they going to fire their coach? Like, what's going to happen this year? This feels like a team that could be a big trade team at the deadline, because teams are going to be interested in guys like Ben Mathurin. Teams are going to be interested in Miles Turner, hoping that they can turn him back into a real rim protector and not just a guy who hunts shot blocks. Teams would be interested in Pascal Siakam. Like, they have pieces that are interesting to other teams. And look, I don't know where you go right now, because the problem is Tyrese Halliburton is supposed to be your centerpiece star, and everything starts with him in terms of the struggles. Do you continue to commit to building around Tyrese Halliburton and hope that this is just an early season struggle? But it's really not just early season. He was bad the second half of last year. I mean, at least he wasn't great. He was terrible. He didn't play much in the Olympics, but he wasn't good. And he's been horrific this year. And we're getting to the point where it's not a tiny sample size anymore. And then things, if they couldn't get worse, get worse. They have the hardest remaining strength of schedule of any Eastern Conference team in the league. Every team above them and every team within 1, 2, 3 spots below them as well. They are the only team out of the 12 hardest schedules remaining in the year to be an Eastern Conference team. This team is in such a tough spot right now. And everything you look at doesn't show that things are going to get better. It shows that they might get worse. And so when you look at the future assets, look, they have a couple extra second-round picks from some other teams and stuff like that. They have no extra first-round picks, and they did trade away their first for next year, although it has some protections on it. I guess it's top 4 protected this year, but I don't think they're going to wind up with a top 4 pick. That would be unlikely, even if they do miss the playoffs. Point being, they don't have amazing assets in terms of future trades. They don't have any extra first-round picks. They have a couple extra seconds, which kind of help offset for the couple seconds that they traded, and maybe even a couple more extra seconds after that. But I would seriously consider, if I was the Pacers, trying to get some assets, because I don't know how you're going to build this team right now. Like, the team that they have built currently is not playing well. It is not cohesive. And I feel like Miles Turner's he's not old, but he's getting older. Pascal Siakam getting older. Ben Mathurin's still very young, but maybe you keep Mathurin and Halliburton and see if you can build around those guys. But I mean, when you look at the numbers, like Siakam is 30, Miles Turner's 28. Like, these guys are not spring chickens anymore. Maybe you look to trade them and just accept that this is going to be a bad year. The thing is, they have no bigs. Isaiah Jackson's out for the year with a torn Achilles, as is James Wiseman. So if they trade Siakam and Turner, it's like that's it. You know what I mean? For the season period. But it's not like they're playing defense anyway. So I'm at a loss with this Pacers team. I really don't know what you do right now. If you're a Pacers fan, I am truly sorry, because good Lord, it just gets worse by the day. How do you lose to the Hornets without LaMelo Ball? Not let alone Miles Bridges and a bunch of other guys as well. Just it's got to be rough going from Eastern Conference Finals to this quickly. It has to be really challenging. I feel bad for a Pacers fan out there. I really do. But I hope y'all did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I will be back with more NBA content very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.